Hold on, I'm pissing outside. I am drunk, guys. I mean, I don't even drink beer anymore. But I was like, you know, there's no way I can do this without at least a 6-pack. And it only took 6 to get a buzz. But the crazy. Can you hear it, man?
Yeah, dude.
It's awesome.
Listen how long it takes. Listen.
It's perfect for the radio.
Hey,
that's
look,
quite
you guys
the
can
stream
go
you got
international
there.
if we release the unedited version of this. Everything. Oh my God. Are you guys having fun?
Hell yeah, dude. I mean,
We
I'm
love doing this shit, man.
I'm just sitting here ripping my bong, talking to you guys. I couldn't be having a better time.
Good. Me either, man. I mean that. I swear to God, I mean it.
Stonedhenge, baby. Hello, what's up to all the Stonedhenge warriors out there across the globe? This is the Stonedhenge Show podcast, episode number 20, and I am Todd.
I'm Brandon.
And we have a really awesome show for you guys tonight, man. We're really excited. We have a very special guest this evening that we're going to be talking with here in just a little bit. Mr. Joe Ferguson, who actually started the Ace's Basement Music Club here in Greensboro, which, as we will further discuss in this episode, was really a pinnacle of a rock scene formation in this area.
Basically, everything that we ever accomplished was kind of built on the cornerstone of this guy.
Absolutely. And Brandon and I discussed this. Yeah, we discussed this earlier today. And we're going to get further in this once we have Joe on and we're all chatting about all this stuff. Naturally, we'll get to this. But we realize that there are just a lot of things in our lives that would not have happened had it not been for this club, for these things to just sort of manifest. You know, I mean, like, for example, Brandon and I wouldn't know each other. We probably never would have been signed musicians. We probably then would have never have encountered all this stupid bullshit that we tell you stories about each week.
Exactly. And that means all roads lead to Joe.
All roads lead to Joe. Well, we just named the episode, so that's great.
All roads lead to Joe.
Yeah,
and
but
that's what tonight's show is about.
But guys, this is we have so much to talk about with Joe, so we're not gonna dilly-dally around here. But please be sure to check us out at facebook.com/Stonedhenge Show, as well as StonehengeShow.com.
You can check us out on Twitter at Stonedhenge Show. You can check out Todd at Todd Tannick. I'm at St. Dopium.
Thanks for checking us out again this week, guys. We're going to get right to it. We'll be right back after this, and we will have our good friend Joe Ferguson with us. All right, guys. So like we said, we have a really awesome friend of ours with us on the show tonight. Very, very influential person in the music world, especially in the Triad area where we mostly played the majority of our hometown shows, even though far less was based out of Blacksburg. Greensboro was very much home.
Yeah, we didn't do shit at home really, other than like two venues that weren't really venues, and they were just places that we played. This guy that we're bringing on to chat with you guys is essentially the person who came into this area and bridged the gap between, you know, shitty nu metal bands playing at a local pub and the acts that were big enough to pack out the Coliseum. Yeah, this guy started the fucking club that was able to put local indie rock bands on the same stage as bands that were just about to break big or just broke big.
Or bands that had the talent to break big, but needed that kind of exposure to play with a touring package.
Exactly.
The effects of this club's existence are pretty staggering once we dive into all this stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But for now, everybody, let's welcome our dear friend, Mr. Joe Ferguson. What's up, Joe?
Hey, guys. How's it going? Hey, let me just say, I'm truly overwhelmed by what you said. I really am. I mean that.
Dude, man, it's heartfelt. Like, absolutely. We're going to talk all about this, and it'll be evident. You'll see that it's not just flattery. I mean, Brandon and I discussed some of this stuff earlier that we're going to air out. And like we said, we may not have ever met each other if it wasn't for that club. So, I mean, that, for example, is one of many, many things that your existence and what you put together there opened up for so many musicians that are still currently doing things.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, I mean, it's amazing.
Fucked up amazing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, Ace's Basement, it was the fucking cornerstone, man, for everything else.
It was our little whiskey.
Yeah.
It was like the whiskey go-go in Greensboro.
Totally was.
Please continue.
only we didn't have Guns N' Roses playing.
Yeah, it was us.
Well, Joe, man, we are really excited that you're on the show with us. And as has come the tradition of the Stonedhenge Show podcast, we must play our patent game of story time with you. And with you being the guest, you have to start us off with the first word of the episode 20 rendition of story time.
It's basically the best way to warm up any guest to a show because
it loosens everything up.
It forces you to think on your toes just a little bit.
All right, cool. Here we go. Do I start it?
Yeah, you have the first word.
You know what the first word is? First.
Bass.
Is.
The.
Shit.
4. Was that 4? A new record.
That's something that no one would ever say.
Yeah.
First base is the shit.
Wow.
Oh, man, that was awesome. We did a baseball story time.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And you got it in 4-bagger.
Yeah, that was pretty.
I thought it would be cool to like just abruptly fucking throw it off.
That's why we knew where we were going with it too. And then Brandon, boom.
Yeah.
Bam. All right, so Brandon, let's do another one. You start this one.
So the first word is pizza.
Parties
are
so
much
fun
and
waffles
suck
cock.
Pizza parties are so much fun and waffles suck cock.
I was going with the pizza and waffles suck together. That's
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that waffles suck.
Man, you know, I was thinking about getting a bumper sticker. It says pizza parties are awesome and waffles suck cock.
Yeah, I can't stand no goddamn waffle.
I'm going full on campaign against waffles, dude. I'm getting stickers and shit.
Them boys came over from Germany, God knows how many moons ago, waffling around our town.
They called them waffles.
Yeah, they were saying, they wouldn't, get this, brother, they weren't even saying waffles. They called it shit waffles.
Who the fucking hell says a word like waffle?
And then they try to get this shit they put on top of it out of these big ass trees. Bullshit.
That they get from Canada.
Yep, that they bring down from Canada. That ain't no damn American breakfast.
We don't need no damn Canadian syrup or no damn waffles.
Y'all go back up north and damn barricade your damn lives in.
We want pizza parties all day long.
Give us a damn pizza party. That was awesome. I came over here waffling around our town. What the fuck? Oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna start this one off now that we just went there. My first word for this one is going to be Alexis.
On.
Chrome.
Makes
sense. Actually, it doesn't.
It doesn't make any sense, but that's you saying what you did was the only way it ever could make sense. By simply stating, I have
to say, Alexis on Chrome makes sense. I have to say it.
I was going for Alexis on fire, or is it Alex is on fire? I never knew for sure.
Yeah,
I never knew either.
I never knew either.
But that's what I was trying to lead you with, and I guess you didn't know because I didn't really know.
No, I just wanted to fucking say something weird.
Yeah.
On Chrome, Alexis on Chrome makes sense. All right, Joe, we're gonna do one more, man. You started off.
I'll start it off with ace
of
clubs
is
face
on
the
shrubs.
I knew you'd round it out with a rhymer.
I was pulling, I was reaching for that one.
On shrubs.
On shrubs.
Hey, it's hard to top the first two.
Yeah, but that was a solid round. Now we're all nice and loose and nimble.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that last one? Do you even fucking remember what that was already? I already forgot.
Yeah. It was ace of clubs is ace of clubs is better than face on the shrubs.
That one may hit the cutting room floor.
Alexis on Chrome makes sense.
We're gonna have to file that last one.
Pizza parties are rule, but waffles suck. That's such a funny statement.
I mean, we're going full on assault against the waffle industry.
I guess I should have rephrased what I said earlier. I think if you do not like waffles, you have to be the kind of person that doesn't like pizza. You know? Like that one person that doesn't like the one thing that everybody fucking likes.
That's true, then, because there's always there's always that one person that, and your boss is like, yeah, I'm gonna get everybody pizza. Is that cool? And they're like, no, that's not cool. In fact, I'd rather everybody get nothing if you're gonna get pizza.
Can you get a salad instead? I can't eat that.
Can everybody just share the salad
with their hands
instead? Yeah, I mean it's natural. We'll just eat with our hands.
So, like we said, we have Joe Ferguson here chatting with us today, and we've already kind of teed everything up as far as the importance of the club that he ran. But now I think it's time that we all kind of dive into this a little bit and just, all get a better feel for where this came from and how this came to be. So, Joe, I guess for the first bit here, I think it'd be cool to just kind of talk about how the fuck you actually ended up opening an indie rock club in the middle of a crack hotel.
That's what I want to know. How
did that happen?
Get that idea. What was the impetus for that?
Well, it obviously was not the plan per se, but that's where I ended up. If I were going to start the story, I would have to start it in probably 1996. I started hanging out with a band called 30 Deep. And, the first couple of shows that I ever put together were 30 Deep with other bands. One of them was a band called Dumbfounded with Adam Lazzara from Taking Back Sunday. Well, first, let me just say this. I mean, I don't even know if I want to get into all of this, but the death of Kurt Cobain was probably the seed was planted with that.
I think that was a very pivotal moment for a lot of people.
What do you mean in terms of yourself? The seed was planted by that. Obviously, it was a monumental event, but what did it do to you specifically?
Let me backtrack a little before that. I mean, Nirvana busting onto the scene and changing the way I thought about music. Whether you like Nirvana or not, you have to at least respect the fact that they spawned so many people into the idea that, wow, if they can do it, I can do it, Sure. And the same thing happened with the Beatles, of course. And really, to me, the two bands in the history of music that caused this chain reaction to start were the Beatles and Nirvana. I really can't think of any other band in between. Maybe some of the punk bands and maybe the Sex Pistols, just because, I mean, if you want to talk about a band that somebody can look at and say, wow, it's not even about being good. It's just about, expression. I'm talking about the garage bands that just sprouted up, and from that, there was, in some cases, too many bands. But when you have that situation, that's when you're in a situation where, hey, there's a lot going on. I could open up a place in just about any location and make something happen just because there's so much, hope in the local scene. And I hate the word local, but, the bands around you.
Well, it is a local scene, but without a local scene to kind of incubate this talent, it doesn't outstretch local. It never will.
I mean, and it can be used as a dirty word. You're right. I mean, you're totally right.
But when I think about how it all started, how I ended up at Ace's Basement, I mean, I keep backtracking even before. But honestly, I would really say Nirvana and the album Nevermind. And, a lot of people have the same story. But for me, even though I've loved music since, I was going through my dad's record collection, and I mean, good stuff. But, it just changed the way I thought, just like a lot of people. And it sounds like a VH1 behind the scenes documentary, but it really is true. It got me excited. But then when he died, that really shook me. It really, it really changed the way I thought. It changed what I wanted to do. And I started hanging around with this band called 30 Deep, Ben Wise, Jason Heaton, Brad Ellington, and I just, those guys who were, a good punk rock band, just hanging around with them and seeing, what the band has to go through, just to get a show. I mean, the reason I started doing shows was because they were having trouble getting a show. So I said, well, I'll just make it happen then. From that time, bands like Pest were playing some shows, Blank Face, the guys from who we know from Classic Case.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I was just hanging around that scene, and it just kind of led me to, hey, if I ever get the opportunity to get into a room, I will make something happen. It just turned out that I had one of the worst locations. But
what happened in that club? It was, I was trying to describe this to someone the other day, because I guess just for a visual, because we're going to have a lot of people who listen to this, Joe, who have no clue what this place is, nor will they ever, because it's gone now. Like, they completely leveled that entire hotel. There's nothing there. There's no walkthrough. You know, right over here, we used to do this and that. But what I remember so vividly about that place, the first time I went there, I remember thinking, like, what in the fuck is this? You know, like, on the outside, before I even get into the club, I'm walking in this hotel parking lot, and it's just like hood rats everywhere. It's obviously like, you know, crack hotel type place. You know,
the parking in the back is what pissed me off.
Yeah, and
I rolled up and I was like, "Wow, fuck! Wow, there's nowhere to turn around this van."
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things. But once you walk inside of the place, you start to feel something. I don't know what it is. Except
no, dude, you could say it's cliche as fuck, but it was fucking magical. There was a totally different vibe. The moment you walked in, you were like, I'm in. You transported into that fucking world. You were in rock and roll, man. You were there.
Yeah, and there's a vibe in Ace's Basement that I've played several places now. Everything from every shithole you can imagine to like some of the nicest, you know, local venues in the country, and as has Brandon. But I've never played in a room that had the same vibe and the same energy.
Me either.
As Ace's Basement.
You know, one thing I can say about that, and yeah, you guys have played all over the country, and you guys have been on some really good tours, both of you, in different bands, and the same band, of course. It really is, and I by no means am I talking about myself alone, but it's not where you're at, it's the people who are involved. I mean, you know, maybe later on we'll talk about the all-star team that I assembled. I mean, some really talented and amazing people, and it really was a special time, and just everybody involved that on the inside of that. And I reached out to the bands, and you know, if some people needed a job that were in a band and contributed to the club, I did whatever I could, and they'll tell you.
I specifically remember that, man, because one of my most memorable experiences at Ace's Basement, and I have a ton of them, but I specifically remember being so just awestruck by the fact that you were bringing Blindside. And when I saw that they were booked and then the Far Less guys were opening, and this is obviously, I was playing with The Necessary at this time, so I wasn't even in Far Less at the moment. And I remember you allowed me to just give everyone wristbands for, you know, a couple hours, and you paid me, and then came up and said, all right, man, you got to go watch this, man. Like, we're good here. You got to go watch this show. And I did, and got my fucking face blown off. It was amazing. It was just a great night.
It was, and there were many like it.
Just before I stand to face my love, I'll turn around. And what with a smile I say my goodbye, one last goodbye.
Yeah, you talked earlier. Yeah, Ace's Basement is demolished, and it's nothing is there. And but I'm so thankful to have just literally. I'm still counting the hours of footage that I have from Ace's Basement, and this whole past 2 weeks, I think it's been of, gone through and attempting to go through everything. At least checking every tape, every DVD, just to see exactly what's on there. And it's been great. And, today is May 7th, 2013, and it was 10 years ago today. Maybe the most special show was the very first one, Denali and Code 7.
That was the first show?
That was the first show.
Oh, that would have been a hell of a show, man. I don't know how I didn't know about that fucking show.
That's how I found out about Ace's Basement. Because someone said Code 7 was playing somewhere in Greensboro, and I was like, are they playing the tavern? And they were like, no, they're playing at this place, Ace's Basement. I was like, well, what the fuck is that place? I hadn't even heard of it. And I knew nothing of it, but that was the show that, even for those who were not in attendance, it rang out and captured the audiences of this indie rock scene that were they were like starving for a venue like that to bring in some of these bands that could fill out a 200 cap room and everyone have the time of their lives, in a big sweaty box, at the bottom of a hotel, fucking raging out.
300 cap. 300 cap. So there. Legal capacity was 300. I mean, did we have more in there for the May Copeland show? And I think it was March 2004. Yeah, I think it was 100 people in the lobby.
God, I remember that show, man. It was like the hottest night of my life. I remember everybody was about to pass out because it was so, like, the air went out on one of those.
What do you mean went out? What air? It just... Hey, but listen, I was watching the May footage from that show last night, and that was the first thing out of Dave's mouth, the heat. But hey, did they play? Yeah, they played. They loved it.
Love, it's the wave I ride that won't ever reach the shore. Overwhelmed by time, wanting nothing more. Tonight, gonna take this time and make it right. And it's coming around again.
Actually, the guys from May actually spent the night per request at Ace's Basement one time. I was like, are you sure? They're like, yeah.
Those guys are so fucking nice, man.
I know you toured with those guys.
They're such good dudes, man. They're really, really nice guys.
And look, the memory I have of tours that came through, like, wasn't the honorary title on that tour as well?
Yeah.
Look, that's just what I do, man. I just remember.
That's awesome, dude. Oh, I also think it's so amazing that you've got all that footage, man. Do you have plans for all that footage, Joe?
I mean, honestly, right now I'm just having fun with it. I'm just trying to like upload a lot to YouTube and just make sure it's seen if people want to see it.
Do you have a YouTube
channel?
Channel.
Yeah, it's Shoot Media. And I'm not even trying to plug that, but it is cool, and I plan to actually.
No, we want to plug it.
Yeah,
it's not about making you famous. We just want people to fucking see the videos of this place.
I just enjoy, like, my goal is to have 1,000 Aces Basement videos up there, and honestly, if you break it down by song, I probably have like 6,000 songs.
Well, dude, the first show that I played there with The Necessary. I still have this. It's a treasured possession of mine.
Let me try to guess the show. Can I, Todd?
No. This was there's several you can guess because
the format that show.
Yep. Yeah. The before that show, the first time we ever played there, and it was the first time The Necessary ever played as a band. Honestly, it was just we jumped on. I think it was like the Noise Ratchet show or something like that.
No, I've got that story.
Wait. Well, no, we didn't play that show. I came to that show.
Fair story.
But anywho, I just remember after our performance, you came up to me and gave me a videotape, and it was a VHS.
Yeah.
And you wrote our band name on it and put the date on it. And you said, we got a couple cameras mounted to the ceiling up there, so we like to record the show. And even at that point, that was the very starting point of you doing this. I was like, this is the coolest shit, man. This dude just fucking filmed us while we jammed. That was awesome. And the steady evolution since then in your process. I mean, the passion that you put into filming these bands was undeniable because it started at this point, working with what you had. And then you started acquiring gear and ideas. And when people watch this channel, I want them to pay attention to this because it truly evolved from this very organic approach, and you can see how it grew with your passion and interest in making these videos over time. When you get to some of the ones, towards the end of the era there,
final show, for example.
Yeah, you got 5 or 6 cameras going at the same time with people like crawling all over the stage and getting down under the drums and shit. Like people just going nuts recording shit.
Of course, that was a special show. Not every shoot was like that, but towards the end, I am proud of the progression. And, sometimes I realize that people are going to see some of those early videos that don't really know, the story, so to speak. And they're like, oh, this is a crappy video. But, if you approach it the way you just mentioned, I mean, I appreciate you saying that and you were there the entire.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the magic lies in those old videos, man. Like every now and then, I still haven't even I haven't digitally captured the contents of that VHS tape yet, just because I really, the rare occasion that I hook up a VCR somewhere, I'd pop that video in and I watch it. I'm like, holy shit, man. I mean, it's instant voyage down memory lane.
I mean, I can do that for you because that's what I'm doing now. Like, I actually have a few VHS tapes. It's even tough to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing now. I mean, I'm really enjoying this. And, again, today's the 10-year anniversary, and it's just been so much fun going through everything. And, I'm actually like reaching out to people and that are on these tapes and DVDs and trying to at least put together, one live video for them and just post it. And I've done that for some bands the past couple of weeks. And, I've gotten so much joy out of it. And even then when I was filming, the whole thing was really about, I always wanted to be in a band, and once I realized I couldn't do that, or, I wanted to be good. So if I can't be good at it, I got on the other side. And
well, and it's like you're a sports guy like myself. Just like in sports, there are people who are meant to coach and people who are meant to be on the field. Exactly. And in this sense, you were the coach, or you were the GM of the music industry or the music scene around here. Like everything, that was the central office for this scene.
Honestly,
it was HQ.
Yeah.
The reason I did is because I looked around and really no one was doing it. Not with the bands that were coming, the bands that were attainable. They were attainable. How do I know? because they came through Ace's basement. I mean, literally, as you guys know, outside of the location, not that great. But yeah, inside it was magic. You and I were very, very close, and the necessary, far less. I was so proud of that too. It was like this became your hometown because of Ace's basement,
It totally fucking did.
And me, and I was glad too because it felt like I wanted you guys to move here. I really did. I was like, God, why not? And
I mean, as far as we were concerned, it was our hometown. You know what I mean?
And as far as Todd goes, I mean, hey, the necessary shit, man. The first thing said on that stage, it was me talking about, I don't think we could have made it without them. I mean, I really don't. I mean, they jumped on those tour packages where I was like, worried, man. Worried I was going to have enough people up there. And they made it happen every time.
Yeah.
Dude, I was talking to Brandon earlier about how one thing that Ace has provided for musicians like myself was the ability to play with some of these bands that we thought we would never have a chance in hell to play with, that we looked up to. Because, in the indie rock scene back then, everything wasn't so readily accessible as it is now, via the iTunes store and shit. Like, exactly. if you liked an indie band, you had to order their album and the indie label would mail it to you, and we would get some of these records and jam on them and fall in love with some of this music, and then never in our wildest dreams thought we would be able to play with some of these people. Like, for example, The Necessary. I'll let Brandon go through some of the far less ones that they were able to play with there. But The Necessary, we played with The Format. We played with May. We played with Copeland. We played with... and
let me jump in and say this. A credit to The Necessary. It got to a point where it was not in my best interest to put you on the biggest shows. If I knew the show was going to sell out, even though I might want you to play with these bands, I might have needed your help somewhere else, so you played, I can't even remember all the shows you played with. I mean,
we played with Acceptance. I remember that one.
Yeah, sure did. That's when you played with Copeland. It was Copeland, Acceptance.
I miss you.
And right, I need you
right?
more.
That was Acceptance, right?
Can I see you?
Can I see
you know what?
now?
You know what else? You know what else it did, man? In addition to playing with the bands, I really believe that it gave you guys confidence too. You know, always having cameras on you, always playing a big show, always getting the treatment from me and my staff. You know, it had to help, man. You had to feel like, wow. You know, I mean, that's how I felt. That's how you guys made me feel.
It was a cool thing, man. It was like nothing was forced because it was like a giant family at that time.
It really was.
You know, I mean, everybody who was down with that place, we would come in and work if we needed to, or if you needed us for something, or if we needed the extra money, whichever way it worked out. We'd do whatever we could. We'd always play all of our shows in Greensboro there, nowhere else. Wouldn't even play in Winston or anything, the majority of us, unless it was a big opportunity at Ziggy's. And everybody was just all in, man. It was like a big family, a big musical family. And the staff, everybody. I mean, it was our cheers, our rock and roll cheers of the time.
You know, and I remember, you know, always saying that, you know, these will be the best times. I mean, it just felt like it. Because honestly, to me, it felt like, how could it ever get any better than this? To me,
right?
You know, it's exactly where I wanted to be. You know, I did get caught up in the I want to do a bigger show and get into a bigger venue, and that was the move for Green Street. But the reason the move to Green Street happened was really because I knew that place wasn't going to last forever. I was told that, and that's why I left also. But it was the hunger for doing the bigger shows. But after doing Green Street for 5 years, you know, and I loved my time there. I really did. Did some amazing things. I mean, turned that place into a national stop as well. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
And that continues today, you know. But looking back on it, I liked being in that 300 cap range. I like being where my hunger and the band's hunger on their way up, or their attempt, not to the top, just to where you can, you know, maintain
to recognition.
Just the people your dreams, the people that were looking for that are the people that hung around, and the people that we'll be talking about tonight. I mean, they separated themselves, and there really is a fine line. Talent alone's not going to do it. You know, it's just not. You know, it's getting the people together, and you know, all of the bands that, you know, you guys have played with and have been in. It's like family every time. When it works, it's like family.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, dude, and that is what Ace's Basement felt like. It totally felt like a family. But every time Far Less went in there and played, you guys just made us feel like we were the shit. We just felt like we were awesome.
All right, guys. For those of you that don't know, we're Far Less in Blacksburg, Virginia. This song is called Koyana Scotty.
Look, I mean,
it made us feel good about ourselves.
I mean, first of all, let me say, I mean, I always looked forward to it. It was always fun. Why wouldn't I be interested in showing respect to someone who respects what I'm doing? You know, that's how it progresses everything. You know, that's how you build a scene. That's how you have a band from Virginia stake claim in another state, in another city. And
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And again, you know, I want to say, and I'm going to mention some names. Like when we're talking about Ace's Basement, you guys have said some like just flattering things to me, and it really warms my heart to hear it, you know. But I'm only as good as the people that I surrounded myself with. And the first person I want to mention is Tim LaFollette, who was the first believer in the video. And that's why he was my video editor. And when you see the progression of the video at Ace's Basement, it was a credit to him and his vision as well. You know, him believing in my idea and then grabbing hold and learning as he went. Tim was the most important part of what I was trying to do. It wasn't just booking the show. You know, I don't think we'd be talking tonight if I didn't film everything. You know, that's what is, you know, the filming, the biggest bands that played there, it might have been the smallest venue they played on any given tour, but I can assure you it was one of the most memorable every time. And they can't forget it. They have the DVD too. And when I first started, you know, you have all these bands coming through and they have a tour, and a lot of the tours for a lot of the bands that I had, you know, when they got home, they were worn out and broke and in debt and, you know, wondering if they're ever going to do it again. But, you know, they had that VHS tape or that DVD. And that's one thing I knew they talked about. How'd your tour go? Well, Atlanta was awesome. Ace's Basement, check this video out. It was great. Everybody treated us great. Did an interview for Go Try It early on. I was so flattered then as well. And they asked me about, you know, doing shows. And I said, you know, if you have a big band, it really doesn't matter. If you can't have them back, it doesn't matter. You know, I mean, we did everything we could to have the bands feel welcomed, feel important, and they were important to us. I mean, they really were. I mean, you can't fake what we did, you know?
Yeah.
It's either there or it's not. I never blew smoke. I never blew smoke up a band's ass. You know, I may have thanked them and we appreciate your support, but if I told you, hey, you guys did great tonight, if I told you twice, yeah, I meant it. I may tell everybody once, but
yeah, well, that's like the owner / promoter's duty.
Yeah,
unless it's a total fucking train wreck, it's just
you gotta be like,
good set, guys. You guys did great.
You know what, Todd, and you can relate to this, and you know it comes from that coaching, and for me that baseball. Everybody wants, you know, the reward of praise,
right?
No, absolutely, everybody does.
And I worked hard to get it on my end too. You know, I knew if I was getting any kind of praise, or if the staff was getting any kind of praise, hey, we did our job.
Yeah. Hey, and I wanted to kind of indulge just for a moment with it being, you know, ALS Awareness Month. I think it would be really cool if we were able to turn some eyes or ears in this case towards the matter. But Tim LaFollette, who Joe mentioned earlier, within, you know, the past couple years went through a fight with ALS and tragically passed away not too long ago. And he was a key part of Ace's Basement, like we were talking about earlier. Something really awesome that Tim did throughout the whole battle was he had it documented by Blake Fawcett and Andy Kuhn. They made a web series out of it, and it's won several awards, and it pretty much is a very raw and gritty documentation of, you know, everything from when he found out that he was going to have to go through this, all the way through his care and how everything evolved all the way up to when, you know, Tim passed away. So it is extremely enlightening and extremely educational, and I heavily recommend it. They have a YouTube channel. The organization is called Often Awesome, and you go to the YouTube channel. Every single episode is listed. To start at number 1 and go through, and, you know, by the time you're done with the first one, I dare you to tell me you don't have any interest in watching the second.
That's absolutely true.
Let me jump in real quick and say, you know, most people know this as Lou Gehrig's disease, and I also wanted to say, if anybody wants to check out Tim's recital of the famous Lou Gehrig speech, I mean, it's impressive and it's moving.
Do you know where people can find it?
I believe Blake, his YouTube channel, I believe, is All Aces Media. And if you just Google Tim LaFollette in YouTube, I mean, it'll pop up.
So yeah, I just wanted to kind of, you know, that's a different story altogether that we could go into in such great lengths. But in addition to Tim,
I'm sorry, Todd. In addition to Tim, there are other people. I want to say those people right now: Justin Herzl, Brendan O'Brien, Catherine Garrett, Brian Lewis, Michael and Matt Salino. I mean, Michael and Matt Salino, very important. Cowboy. I don't even. Cowboy. You know. There are others.
Fucking too. Cowboy, man. That is a crazy motherfucker.
Yeah, Cowboy's a fucking wild dude, man. I love that guy.
I do too.
But just want to say again, real quick, you know, it was an all-star staff. I mean, it really was.
Well, everybody believed in it, man.
Mark Brown, you know, after Brendan O'Brien left as head of sound, Mark Brown came in. You know, Mark Brown, I want to say, sound career started at AC Basement. He'll be the first to tell you.
Mark Brown is also one hell of a fucking sound guy.
Yeah, Mark is a beast on the board.
He is one hell of a fucking sound guy.
Absolutely. You know, I remember getting an email in January of 2008, just after the starting line, and the Almost played a show for me at Green Street. Mark was doing very well. You know, those two bands came in. Mark was doing sound. Literally 1 month later, I got an email from the manager of the starting line inquiring about Mark Brown. I mean, as much as I didn't want to let him go, I did not hesitate to, you know, inform Mark of it. And he's their front of house sound guy whenever they tour. And, you know, that stories like that make me feel like, you know, all I ever wanted to do was make Ace's Basement, and whatever I did, I really did want it to matter to someone, because, I mean, that's the only thing that a person can do to really, you know, reap the rewards of, I don't even know how to say it. I don't know how to say it. Just like if a band makes a CD, you know, it's not about, it should not be just about the sales. It should be about, and for you guys it was, I want to make something that somebody is really going to enjoy and just love. Yeah. You know, and with that said, A Toast to Bad Taste is one of my favorite records of all time. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Oh man, thanks a lot. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I know you've heard that before.
And not too often.
From you.
Yeah, from you, which we love.
Record. It's a great record.
Thanks, man.
I actually have the poster of that in my office with the balloons.
That fucking rules, man.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Awesome.
Absolutely.
That is awesome, man. That rules, man.
That rules. I look really good in that picture too.
You do.
I looked like extremely fit and young.
Everyone looks good. Justin Hertzel, Brendan O'Brien. We talked about Tim LaFollette, Catherine Garrett, Michael Salino, Matt Salino, Mark Brown, Matt Ramey, Arlie T. Huffman, Brian Lewis. I mean, we just had a literally, and there's other people, and I'm sorry if I'm forgetting. There was some people that would, you know, like I said, that was in a band. Maybe they just worked a couple of shows, you know. I was trying to help them out while they were home from tour or whatever, you know, just I wanted to have those people around. And I just felt like, in addition to, I liked the people that I chose, it was good business too to have, let's say, somebody working at the door that, these people knew when they walked in. I just wanted to seem like everything was happening there, but without even trying, everything was happening there.
Yeah, it's true. It was the center of our universe.
It felt like it really did, man. I mean, I have this footage of Engine Down, who was really one of my favorite bands.
Dude, I was gonna say, and I was saving it for later. That my favorite performance that I ever witnessed there, and I've seen a lot of them that I will remember till the day I die. But seeing Engine Down play there was, and specifically for me as a drummer, watching Cornbread play drums in a setting like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
I was just talking the other day, man, and he was probably one of the top 5 drummers that he's got his own style. I mean, he's Cornbread,
Yeah, he does his thing, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're Engine Down from Richmond, Virginia. Thank you very, very much.
I always regretted that Far Less never got to play some shows with Engine Down, man. Only because I felt like we would have fucking got along with that band really well, man. I loved them. I loved that band.
And the memory I have of certain shows and tour packages, like it has a lot to do with like seeing a DVD with the date on it over the years and especially the past couple weeks. When you played that Blindside Me Without You show, Engine Down came in 4 days later and played. And they went on tour. That they were touring their new record at the time, their last record. And
that was Demure, right?
No, Demure was the album before.
You're talking about the self-titled?
Yeah, the first one on Lookout Records.
Engine Down?
Yeah, they had been on Love It Records. They started their tour at Ace's Basement. They're from Richmond, so they started at Ace's. Their first date was at Ace's Basement, and they were going to hit the Southeast, work their way west. When they got to Texas, they had everything stolen. Everything. So I have this video that I gave them, and to this day, I don't even think they have it because it was stolen too. I mean, I'm talking about their trailer. Everything was taken. Yeah.
There's too many horror stories out there like that, man. It happens to a lot of them because these vehicles are just easy targets, man. You get done with the show, you're fucking sleepy, you go in the hotel and you crash the fuck out and you wake up and everything's gone.
And I guess it's very possible that, hey, people in whatever city may know, hey, this band's coming. Let's just wait. They know they're coming.
Yeah, that's not a ludicrous thought, to say the least.
Not at all, man. It's actually, yeah. I mean,
I never thought about it until just now when we were talking about it.
Yeah, but that's crazy, man. That's crazy to think that happened to them shortly after performing there.
Fortunately for us, we slept in our van most of the time.
Yeah, so if you want to steal our shit,
one of us was always in the trailer.
Yeah, you got to take us with you, motherfucker. We don't. You can have the fucking van. It's a fucking piece of shit, but you're taking all us dirty motherfuckers with you.
In the trailer, you got to wake up either Jordan or Joseph who's asleep on top of the gear in the back of it.
Yeah, and they stink real bad when they wake up, and they're really bitchy, and act like
So
the
you
light
can deal
hurts
with
their
that
eyes.
shit.
Yeah. So you get to handle all that bullshit.
So you feel free to try to take it, but you got to take one of the Powers brothers down.
Also, if you take this van, I want you to understand that the fucking stereo system in the back is totally fucked because Joseph thought he could fix it, and it ended up with just the speakers hanging out of the fucking dash, which never worked.
Also, don't be surprised when like things fall from like under the hood because I mean Joseph tried to fix it and shit would just fuck up sometimes.
I think Joseph got to a point. Those were the beginnings of him wanting to go and study to become an engineer. So if he hears this, I hope he understands the humor in it all. But I think those were the first days of him fucking around with stuff like that. And he worked at Advanced Auto Parts, and literally, I think he just saw shit in the system and was like, well, I can put one of those on the van.
Engineer's mind, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go put one of those on.
His gear, you know, he thought about his gear and shit like that.
Yeah.
He definitely has an engineering mind, and he would fuck with the van. Unfortunately,
lucky
he would fuck up.
Lucky for everyone that he's around now, he's gone to a really awesome engineering school, so they probably get the better part of it these days.
There is hope for us. There is distance between you and I. We have just enough. And there comes no cries out in between us. You imagine Casina. Is your conscience clear? Get it clean. Get it clean. You celebrate without me. You tell them all about me. Did you sell me out? Well, if you ever had doubt, me out the house. Can you sing me? Can you sing it out? Me out the house. Does it get you off? To get it off your chest. Such an awful, yeah.
Brandon, you had a really cool story about the show that we talked about earlier, the Blind Side and Me Without You show that Far Less played before I was in the band. And there was, an interesting thing that happened that evening, or a joyous day happened along with that.
Yeah, I turned 21 that night, and it was awesome. Several awesome things happened because I believe somebody gave me like a blunt for my birthday, which was really cool. Amber, I think it was Amber, dude.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think Amber gave me a blunt.
Hold on 1 second. Amber, did you give Brandon a blunt for his 21st birthday present at the Blindside show? Yeah, it was her. That is awesome.
So I mean, for one, I'm like,
that's why I've been with this girl for like 7 years, strong now.
Yeah, dude, because we all go way back, man. The Virginia crew.
What's funny is that we were both at that show, but I didn't talk to her back then. I had no idea who she was.
She went to Ace's basement.
Yeah, because she was a Virginia girl. She came down with the Far Less Tide, and Amber's always liked Blindside, man. Her and I will jam out on some Blindside.
With her because of me?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, see, that's something else that I was telling her earlier, just like I told Brandon. Essentially, if Ace's Basement hadn't have existed, I would have never have met Far Less, which then means that I would never have joined Far Less, which then means I never would have moved to Virginia, which is where I met her. So, everything that my life kind of revolves around these days, my girlfriend and my best friend would not even be present in my life right now if it weren't for this fucking music club that you did, man. It's crazy how much shit it laid out for people's lives to where they came across certain things that they would carry with them for the rest of their days in one way or another out of that little building.
We still make music together. We fucking talk together on the show every week. You know what I mean? Like, all because of that.
And I remember, dude, the first
all
time
because of it.
The first time I saw Far Less, when I went to see them. They were playing with someone at Aces.
Was it Varus? We were playing with Varus, dude.
Yes, that was the first time you played, I believe.
It sure was, man.
Yeah, that was it.
Jamie in that band?
Yep, sure Jamie Mollison was the singer for Varus. But I went to that show because I was hanging out with Josh or Joel or whatever at the time. And they took me out because they were like, these guys go to school with us. It's their band. So we were going to see Varus. And I saw you guys play, and you guys were really good. And I didn't want you to be really good because I wanted I wanted our band to be the fucking, like, we're the good band of this area, and we weren't even that fucking good, but it's just, in your mentality at the time,
we're good, and
it's like
then
we're
we
the
started
shit.
playing shows together. We started playing shows together like crazy.
Yeah, because I remember specifically seeing you guys and getting jealous because I was like, oh man, these guys are fucking good, man. This sucks. Like they're gonna fucking steal our thunder. And then we hung out for a little bit that night, and later our bands became buddy bands, and it's just so funny how vividly I can remember some of these moments to where such key pieces were introduced into my life all within the same room at Aces.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
You talk about like Jared Drawn, who we had on the show. I met him there. I wasn't into the punk scene before Aces was even around. I didn't even know anything about indie music until shortly before that.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, I was, with the Necessary and shit, that was really my first, well, other than Into the Affair before that. I mean, you're talking only 2 to 3 years that I had really been engulfed in independent music.
That's funny because, I mean, I knew about a few bands that we would play with in Virginia, like a couple of bands, and you would always play with those bands. But other than like all the mainstream rock bands that I was still like loved and grew up on, like the Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, and, Soundgarden, I didn't know that there was an indie scene either, dude. I didn't know there was anything else going on other than like some of the bands we played with. And
yeah, and I mean,
and the internet wasn't huge. Wasn't enormous. I mean, I guess it was, but
it wasn't nearly as fast as it is now, and easy to hop around from.
But there weren't as many bands utilizing it like today and in the past.
Well, nowadays they're like little pop-up bands, just like how they make all these little pop-up houses everywhere these days, where a whole fucking community will go up where a field was in a matter of a month. These bands just pop up because they got fucking auto-tune and these little beat machines and shit. It's because they plant
those houses and they water them with love and they grow.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. But these bands will emerge. There's so many people out there now, and this sounds irrelevant, but it's totally on topic. There's just so many bands out there and so many people who have no fucking talent who are doing this shit because they're duped into this sensation of having talent by listening to the final product after it comes out of these machines and it's all tuned up and shit. Whereas when we would go to Aces, you sit there and it was this sweaty, raw feeling. And if you can't fucking sing, then you better scream. Like, because this is an intimate setting, and whatever the fuck you play in front of me is what I'm going to get out of it.
Exactly, man. And the crowds were always fucking ready to dance and to fucking sweat it out and to scream. And I mean, even if they didn't know the words, man, they'd fucking sing along. You saw it from stage. I saw it from the stage sometimes, man. And those were some of the best shows ever, man.
Well, dude, on the last Necessary show, I have that DVD, and Joe mentioned it earlier, but that one was a really cool one because it was a weird night, man. Because it was we had never thought about breaking anything off for the longest time because that's just what we did. And then the House of Fools thing happened out of left field, and it was just kind of like, oh man, we have to, we can't do this anymore. And we had one last night there, which I'm very thankful that we have on DVD because it's not in like a sentimentality kind of thing. It's not we broke up, but more so the way that DVD captures the feeling in that room. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch. And the coolest thing about
I think I had to talk you guys into playing that show, if I remember correctly.
You did. But
I remember saying, hey, look, we'll have a DVD and you'll make these people happy. Give them one more show. And I'm glad we have the DVD because that's one of the best. Your post today on Facebook said it all. That's the video that captures. How did you say it?
It captures the feeling of that room somehow. But that in that video particularly, and this is the only time this has ever happened for me, Brandon. I don't know if it's happened for you, but there was a lot of people fucking crowd surfing at this show, like sweaty and like the fuck yeah crowd surf, not just the one that's like, oh my god, I'm up here, but the ones who are sitting there, fuck yeah, like the stoked crowd surfers.
Actually, the last thing on the DVD is you jumping to crowd surf.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the only time in my life I've ever done that.
And we've got it on tape.
And what sucks, Brandon, is when I jumped the first time, I didn't commit. So it's like I just push everyone back, and then they kind of, as a wave coming back, push me back on stage. I'm like, all right, fuck it, one more time. It's like it wasn't nearly as glamorous as it should have been. Yeah, the one that's like, oh shit, I should have jumped higher.
At least you had a
reluctant crowd surfer.
You had the second chance. That's good though. You didn't go to the floor.
Yeah,
they didn't drop you, buddy.
Yeah. That's when it would have been like, oh fuck. It's a good thing we're breaking up because I would never want to be on stage again.
But check this out. I turned 21 in Ace's basement. Okay, we are back to the story.
Yeah, dude. God, wow.
Well, I know your birthday forever now, August 21st.
Well, my birthday's August 22nd. See, I turned 21 in Ace's basement.
You were there in midnight. Good. We got you in the first hour.
Yeah. So we're opening up for Blindside.
First beer at midnight, huh?
Fuck yeah, man.
First legal beer or first legal beverage.
Man.
Did you drink beer back then?
No, man. I never really drank. I drank beers that night. That's why I threw up.
Oh, okay.
But here's the deal. So we're opening for Blindside and Me Without You. I think we had just signed or we're just about to sign to Tooth and Nail. And here I am turning 21, not like really into that whole thing. Just like, I'm going to get so fucked up and watch one of my favorite bands. This is going to rule.
Yeah.
So I'm getting hammered, dude. And I remember somebody buys me a beer. I fucking throw it back. And the next thing I know, I throw up on me, him, somebody else. And like Blindside just started or something like that. It was like embarrassing as hell for one, but totally awesome in retrospect.
Yeah, it's a memory for sure.
You sound excited telling the story.
Joel Kaiser gave me a shirt to wear and to replace the shirt.
Tell him who Joel is. So
Joel Kaiser is the guitar player for the House of Fools. He was in Necessary, which was Todd's old band, which we've been talking about. And I still have that shirt actually. Weird. It's a nice button-up shirt.
It's a keepsake, man.
You know who else I saw at Aces that a band that I saw at Aces that changed my fucking life was Love Drug.
I love that band.
Oh, dude, man.
They're so good and they're so fucking dark, man, that band.
There's another, Todd, the first show they played at Aces, The Necessary played as well.
Yeah, I remember that because they stayed at my house.
Well, there you go.
They ended up coming over and we hung out and shot the shit and drank some beers at my place, and they crashed with me. Those guys crashed with me after a show at Aces. The band Vox stayed with me.
I liked Vox quite a bit as well.
Yeah, actually. Vox used to jam, man. They were aggressive as fuck. I love them.
They had a crazy light show that night.
Yeah, totally. And the other band was Acceptance that came and stayed with me. Oh, and Mock Orange.
Wow, interesting. I posted a video of them as well.
Yeah, so
Shoot the Moon Media. See? Yeah.
I love, what is that, the 40s accent? Maybe 30s.
Yeah, 30s maybe a little bit more.
Summer talk, say.
I love it.
Shoot the moon.
It works perfect with the name for some reason. Shoot the moon, see?
Hey, kiddos, shoot the moon, see? Dude, I have a story that I want to tell about two specific things about one, I guess, overseeing story here.
Okay.
Joe, one thing that he helped us out with the necessary, he was able to do a show trade with this band up in New York called Copperpot.
Great story.
And Copperpot was, a talented pop rock band from New York. That wasn't why we were...
Cold Pizza, which became the ESPN show. They played on Cold Pizza, I remember.
Yeah, that's right. That was their peak. But is
that what they put on their posters?
Well, no, they didn't do this back then. This was like long after the fact.
Oh, okay.
But so obviously it was cool anytime you got any kind of show offer, especially in another state. That's before we ever knew what a real tour was like. Any show where you had to drive over 3 hours was considered a tour. If it was one fucking show,
oh yeah,
you drive over 3 hours there, 3 hours back. That was a fucking tour.
I'm not getting back till 3 a.m. So
I'm going
hell around your neck like the Bon Jovi video.
I'm going on tour tomorrow, man. So I'll probably be gone for a bit. Well, when are you coming back? The day after tomorrow.
Well, look, we could probably hang out in a couple days. We're gonna go play a show in Winston, and then I think we're gonna play a show in Greensboro the next night. So we're gonna be on tour like all weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to get in touch with us, man. We're
I'm not gonna have my cell phone on because I'm gonna be playing.
Here, let me give you my manager's number.
Yeah, I'll give you. We got a tour manager, which is actually my fucking roommate who won't do anything worthwhile with his life. So he's holding on to our coattails as hard as he can.
Look,
if you can make him feel like he's done a fucking thing tonight, that would be great.
I'm sorry. I just keep my phone on vibrate because I'm playing like all the time. So.
Yeah, it's like even if I had the ringer on, I wouldn't hear it because there's so much like rock and roll around me all the time.
Yeah,
so
I'm just playing. I'm on tour, so I'll call you later.
Yeah.
What does your voicemail say?
Sorry, bro. Rocking too hard.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just on tour. I'll be back on Monday. Leave a message.
Yeah. Hey, this is Todd. Sorry you missed me. I'm probably out playing some badass tour right now. I'll probably be back tomorrow. Hit me up.
Oh my.
Dude, but all right.
And that was our lives, actually. That we lived that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it was like. So I guess the big bonus of this story and how we end up there, I guess, the show was at a very legendary place that I never, ever, ever, in all honesty, would have ever played at this venue in all likelihood if it wasn't for Joe Ferguson. But he sets up this show, and that Copperpot gets to play at Ace's Basement with us, and in exchange, we, the necessary, got to go up and play at CBGB's.
Legendary.
And so we were like, holy shit, we're going to go fucking play at CBGB's. We were stoked. So Joe and Justin Herzl are following us in a separate van. And they're riding literally on this trip with us up to New York and following behind and just going along with us because Joe wanted to help promote what we were doing.
I was burning DVDs.
Yeah, he had a portable DVD burner that he had in the van that burnt like 6 at a time, and he was just sitting there burning all these promo DVDs to hand out at all the shows.
Which included the interview, which, by the way, is up on Shoot the Moon Media.
Yeah,
Shoot the Moon, say.
You can check out the necessary interview, which is, I don't know why, but even though I sound country now on this show, but holy shit, in that video, I sounded insanely country. So we go up to CBGB's, and the whole trip and back, we could take up 5 episodes just talking about this stuff. But 2 very specific things that I want to just mention that you may have forgotten about that the guys in the band have remembered. It's just one of those stories. All your friends do things every now and then that you're just like, holy shit, and you laugh about it to the end of time. Joe, this first night when we were in Philadelphia, he just got fucking wrecked over the course of the night. I mean, we were all drinking because that show was stupid, and
it was a warm up for CBGB.
Yeah, like everybody just got.
I don't think I'd let you go into CBGB's cold, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, let's warm up.
Everybody got fucked up, and we went to this person's apartment. I have no clue whose apartment it was, but we're staying with them. And the place seems okay, but then every now and then you'd see a fucking like giant cockroach run across the floor, like run over you.
I think that was a rat.
It was, yeah, it could have been that. I think that was the debate, what it was, but Joe got so hammered that he laid down to go to sleep, and I was like, "Hey man, you need a pillow?" And he was like, no, I'm good. And he's like laying down, and he takes his empty box of cigarettes and uses it as a pillow. And
I hate to name drop, but that was actually in Adam Lazzara's apartment, dude. That was after CBGB's, man, where I was at the bar.
No, not that one. That was the one where we smoked that monster blunt.
That was in Adam's
I'm talking about, this is a different night. This was in Philadelphia on the way up to New York.
The night I slept on the cigarette pack was at Adam's apartment, man. Because I threw up water all the way to walking to the car. With the van. I bought a water. Trust me, I know that story. We can edit this shit. Just splice in New York.
Dude, it's all good. Like it doesn't have to be.
You want to. I don't care. But you're right. I slept on a cigarette pack.
But my most memorable story is like when we get to CBGB's. We get to this club, and the whole way Joe, and Joe, I'm sure you know by now that I'm known for doing a pretty good impression of you.
Yes.
And so whenever we retell this story, I have to do it as you.
I don't think I've ever heard this.
When we got, dude, you were all stoked on the way up there, because you were just starting to slide into like this role of our manager. And so you were feeling very wheel and deal. I'm a businessman. Let's do this shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we got to CBGB's, and we walk in, and we're the first band there, and we're trying to load our gear in. And this guy, this black guy comes up from the stairs, and I go, "Hey, we're here. We're playing tonight. Just curious where we should load our gear into." And he's like, "I don't give a fuck where the fuck you take your gear, motherfucker. Put the shit over here." Like he's like aggressively cussing me out. I'm just like, what the fuck? Because you imagine, like, we just got to CBGB's, it's like, this is it. We get to play in this legendary fucking place. And
Ace's basement is so much nicer than CBGB's.
Totally, dude. I will take Ace's over CB's any day. But
it's legendary.
Yeah.
Was at the door when we walked in too. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
but so this guy's like cussing me out and shit, and everyone's like, "What a fucking dickhead, man!" And Joe goes up to him and pulls out a $20 bill, and he goes, "Hey, thanks for all your help," and puts it in his palm. And the guy's like, "Okay," and puts it away. Now the humor in this whole story is that we come to find out that like this was a special needs employee. Like he was not all there mentally.
Oh.
So that's why he was cussing us out, and that's why he was so pleasantly surprised by the $20 gift. He didn't really understand the entire situation of what was going on there. So that's the story that we always have, because it was like hey, $20, take it or leave it, dog. And the guy's like,
"Oh, don't really sound like that."
Thank you. Dude, all impressions are exaggerated.
Like a satire.
Every
version.
Every fucking impression is an exaggeration.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, good.
Like anybody, I'm also known for. I'm known for doing a really good Jordan Powers. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
To give you an example.
Oh, it's pretty great.
Okay.
Joseph, dude, you do not need to talk to me like that, dude.
Joseph, dude.
It's like a caricature, right?
Right, exactly. Right. That's kind of how yours is like the Italian mobster.
Cool, I love it. All
Shoot the moon, dog.
Again if you want. Hey, but his attitude changed. It's amazing what a $20 bill will do.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
It goes a long way.
That's a whole other podcast altogether, dude.
Yeah.
It's the fucking power of the dollar, man. Goddamn. Hey, what about the fucking Halloween in like July show that we did?
Holy shit, man. I almost forgot all about that. And thank you.
Fuck, man?
Thank you for remembering that. Dude, this is what happened. Exactly. The Necessary was supposed to put our album out on that date.
We were going to be playing your CD release, right? Was the deal.
Right. It was going to be our CD release show, but we found out just days before that show that the CD wasn't going to be released at that time. And it got pushed back to June. Actually, that year, I remember very specifically, it was on my birthday that it actually came out. But that show, we were bummed out because that was supposed to be our release. And so I remember Josh and I talking in the practice space one day of like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? Because now we're all bummed because we marketed this as our CD release show. And now we're not going to have a fucking CD. And he pretty much had the idea that we should have a costume show, like a Halloween show, just something out of the ordinary, and everybody sell it. Like everybody get the fuck into it. And sure enough, man, like right in the middle of March, it was us, and it was, oh dude, what a perfect tie-in. It was us, you guys in Far Less, and fucking Copperpot.
That's right. I'll be damned. It sure was.
And actually at the end of it, and Joe, if you have this is the one that I want really badly, because I have this, except at this point it skips, like it's gotten scratched. Right. But at the very end of the set, we covered, I believe, in a thing called Love by the Darkness.
I remember that.
And all the members from the other bands came up, and Brandon was singing with Josh, and everybody was just jamming. It was like a really good cover.
Yeah, I remember when you played it.
Explain all these feelings that you're making me feel. My heart's in overdrive and you're behind the steering wheel. Touching you, touching me, touching you, oh, just touching you. Let's go! I believe in a thing called love. There's something new in my heart. There's a chance that we make it now. We're walking till the sun goes down. I believe in a thing called love. Ooh. That's all.
Hey, a couple things. I'm sorry. One, Josh's Riddler costume from that show.
Yeah, dude. He was wearing a cup under it. Yeah. Remember? He had a cup because it was all spandex. Yo, that show, Brandon, our whole band went to this like really nice costume shop. And it was like $60 or $70 a night for these costumes, but they were legit, like theatrical
everybody
quality.
Had a nice costume. We were just the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, y'all just came in dressed as like thugs, and we're like, "I'm RZA, he's Method Man," but it totally worked.
We didn't break character all fucking night, dude.
I remember that, dude.
I stayed in character all night.
Hey, Todd, you said if there's anything else I'd like to throw out two things. One, another thing the video did, when a band knew they were being filmed, they gave it everything they had. You're talking about the costumes. I'm sure that had something to do with it. You knew you were going to have a DVD of the show, and you wanted to go all out. The video just brought the best out of a band. You know what? Or the worst. The video did not lie. And it made a lot of bands confident, and it took them places. It also broke up a lot of bands too.
Dude, Joe, I gotta tell you something about a video like that. And I believe I've played this for you, Brandon, but if I have not, there was a show at Green Street when Chainsaw and I practically lived together. And Chainsaw's Corey Makel, another fucking great sound guy. Yep. That came from the Joe Ferguson era.
He was hanging around in Aces, but he didn't do sound yet. But we did a lot.
But once it got to Green Street, he started doing some shows. Yeah,
we did a lot of big shows together.
He brought home a DVD from a band that you recorded at Green Street like one of the worst fucking things I have ever heard in my entire life, and it had us on the verge.
One of the best things I've ever seen in my
life.
Right.
No, that's what I mean. It's so bad that it's fucking.
I think I know the band you're talking about. I'm not going to mention the name.
Fucking, I will happily say the band name because I'm pretty sure they don't exist, and there's you can't debate that.
No one's going to be listening, right?
Yeah, so, none of them especially.
Yeah, they don't know what good stuff is.
The band was called Man Eating Machines.
Yeah,
awesome band name.
Hey, you know what? I got the DVD. I'll post it tonight.
Dude, one. Please, if you can get the one where they do the fucking Iggy Pop cover or the Sex Pistols cover or whatever. And
I'll tell you what, I'll do it
now
tonight.
I'm gonna be your dog.
I wanna be your dog. Here's the thing though. They're gonna be famous when people see these videos.
Yeah, well that's fine. I would rather them be famous than fucking.
Man Eating Machine is an awesome band name as well, by the way.
Yeah, it is. I remember the singer was like, I am so and so when he did the whole band introduction, even though they're like a punk band where he went around and he goes also known in the Winston-Salem Correctional Facility as CC Ugly. Dude, I'm telling you, Chainsaw and I have this whole thing like memorized, Joe. And he goes, back here on the drums, I got my man Steven Powerhouse Strobel.
That's right, Steven Strobel.
Steven Strobel.
With you.
Steven Strobel he looks eerily similar to Brandon Welch. It's so funny. I bet that DVD was the reason they broke up. Dude, Brandon, do you remember the guitar player's name?
No, but I remember the guitar player clearly in my head, though.
Joshua Manish.
Joshua Manish. I remember the singer being on the floor at one point.
Yeah, he's rolling around. You can see Little B, Brian Lewis, like one of the camera angles gets on him, and he's just sitting there like, what the fuck? There's like 3 people in that room. 3 people.
Joshua Manish.
Joshua. He'd always do this weird inflection like, over here on guitar, Joshua Manish. And he was like, Steven the Powerhouse Strobel.
Wow. Brandon, you've seen this before?
Dude, I've watched it a couple times with Todd,
it's gold, man. It is absolute gold. I'll never forget that. Chainsaw came home from work and it was like 3:30 in the morning. Chainsaw was just waving that DVD and he's like, oh man, you have no idea what I have for you, buddy. You gotta see this. You know what's
funny, Todd? He rarely ever even asked to take a DVD home of a show.
I know. He specifically talked about that with me, and he was like, he told me about how you said this shit is so bad, like please don't play it for anybody.
Yeah. I think my exact words after they played said I would turn down another $200 if they wanted another video. I said, I don't
want No, dude, somebody that was in that band wants to talk about that experience. I did some bad shit.
Craziest thing that ever happened, man. I'm outside, so I don't know. Maybe I should go inside to tell it if you think you'd use it, but it involves hot water music and gunfire. I don't know if that would make the show, but I got a story.
No, totally, man. Dude, this is a podcast. We can say whatever the fuck we want.
All right, here's the story, guys. Hold on. Hold on a second.
Hold on, I got a boner.
Wait, hold on.
I got to button up, man. Hang on.
Hold on, guys. I'm hard as shit right now.
Wait, hold on.
I'm still here. Hold on. This is a good story. It really is.
Well, Joe, I want to know, what is the fucking craziest thing that has ever happened in Ace of Base?
Let's see. I guess I would have to say November 2003, Friction Fest, the last one, I believe. Well, let me tell you how day one went. Great lineup, Hot Water Music, the Lawrence Arms, a Static Lullaby when they were going to be something.
Yeah, I remember them.
That faded quick. And These Arms Are Snakes.
Yeah,
And
I was
then
about
there
to say,
an
I thought I remembered These Arms Are Snakes there.
Yeah, and 1-6 Conspiracy, which is Chandler. I don't know if you remember him.
I remember that band's name.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so Hot Water Music, I was so pumped to kick off. I kind of took over Friction Fest. It had been at Somewhere Else Tavern, the previous events, Ant Sanders and Joel Collins. They wanted to have it at Aces. And so I went overboard the first and only time. And you guys both know, we did it right with hospitality on a ticketed show, we'll say.
No.
If there was a contract, we did it right, did we not? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You fed and you staggered out of the club most of the time. So
hell yeah.
So Hot Water Music's coming, so there's not enough room with all of the equipment that was coming, 5 bands, which with that kind of package, that's a lot of equipment. And so I got 2 rooms upstairs as the green room for the tour package. Hot Water, Static Lullaby, the Lawrence Arms, These Arms Are Snakes. So there's 2 rooms that have joined, and that's where the food is. They were lounging. They were loving it. I've got the videos of every band where they mentioned, including Hot Water Music, like just raving about me and the hospitality. And I've tried to pour it on thick, especially in the early days. So I hate to say that in a way, but so anyway, so after the show's over, we had a great show, sold out. The rooms upstairs were absolutely disastrous. I mean, food everywhere, beer cans. I mean, I think we went through like 6 cases of beer. All right, the people involved in Friction Fest, I'm not going to clean this up by myself. Joel, Ant, let's go. So we went upstairs, all 3 of us were cleaning the rooms, and the doors are open to the hallway. I mean, the place is a wreck. We got trash bags. We're filling it up with all kinds of stuff. All of a sudden, there's 3 gunshots, literally maybe 10 feet outside of our door. You know what? I don't want to tell the story.
Yeah, dude, this story is fucking awesome.
You can't build it.
What the fuck was that?
Okay, here we go.
That was like a girl. That was like a girl jerking you off, and you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, let me get to the climax and stop.
Yeah.
So we're inside, we're cleaning, great show, guys. We're all exhausted. All of a sudden, like loud gunshots going off, 3 or 4 gunshots. I mean, literally right outside the door. The doors are wide open. Ant Sanders and Joel come running to me. Like they're in one room, they come running to me. And we're all startled. Make no mistake. They're really upset. I'm upset. They wanted to shut the doors. At the same time, there's people downstairs. Like I didn't know what was going on out in the hallway. All I knew is there were gunshots and I heard people running. I didn't know where they were going. So my main concern was, there's people down in the club. The doors are wide open. I mean, the bands are loading out. So I needed to get downstairs. Actually, the bands had already gone. All that was left was our staff, and the doors are open. So I was concerned about that. So I just run out the door, literally like I can smell smoke from a gun as I'm in the hallway. I jet out the back side stairwell straight down to the club, like kind of lock everyone in. And Joel and Ant stayed behind, but I just had to get out of there. But that was literally the craziest thing. But the funny thing is, after it all happened, the team were regrouped. We're down in the club. And, this is early in the days of Ace's Basement. I mean, we just had a successful show. I mean, the last thing I wanted was for people to know that, there were gunshots at this club that is basically just, within the first 6 months of its existence. So I'm telling everybody in the club, that the staff, hey, there's really not, it's just us here. It was late, and let's just keep this to ourselves, we don't want this to potentially hurt the club. So I thought everything would be cool. The next morning, about 9 a.m., I get a phone call, and it's the father of These Arms Are Snakes, and he's telling me that, hey, my son is the drummer, and they played there last night. I was like, yeah, it was a great show. They did great. He's like, yeah, but see, they left all of their equipment there because they had to jet out of there once they heard the gunshots. So, my cover was blown. I knew the agent would get word of this, which was actually Feta Booking, by the way. Based out of Philadelphia. You know Feta?
Yeah, I remember Feta.
So you're talking to These Arms Are Snakes, their dad, then?
These Arms Are Snakes, his dad. Really, I was just trying to keep the...
I don't know anything other than the gunshots. I didn't know about the father calling you.
Yeah, me either.
So you did know about the gunshots?
I did know about that because I was there when it happened.
Yeah, it was basically just, I thought we could keep it under wraps, and to have the father of the opening band of the tour package call me, it was just kind of, I was like, whoa, But you know what? Obviously, it didn't affect anything. Yeah, the place was shady, but everything that happened inside the club was just really from the heart. Everybody that worked there was just...
Well, the exterior of that building and everything you go through mentally before you actually enter the room, I think is a lot of another factor that makes the place so awesome. It's like you go through all this bullshit and you're like,
character.
Like you walk your girlfriend in or something and fucking 3 hobos are going to try to finger her before you get to the bottom of the steps.
Yeah, it's true.
But then once you're in there, you're in the nest and you're protected.
That makes you look good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, looks like you just got turned down, Mr. Hobo. I'm going to go get my fingers in it.
I'm fingering this one tonight. Hobo.
Hobo.
I'm going to Captain Hook this bitch, Hobo. What do you think about that?
That's 2 consecutive episodes with a Captain Hook reference. Cha-ching.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for them to see each other now that it's all said and done. You never know how much you love a person until that day they're gone. But it's not over till it's over. It's not giving you and calling me back to you. Over till it's over.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say, thank you for having me on your show, and it really meant a lot to me to share these stories, especially with the two of you on the 10-year anniversary of the first show. It really meant a lot to me, so thank you.
Dude, it was our pleasure, man. Thank you for taking the time to share a good bit of these stories with us, man.
Anytime.
We could go on, and we should just do another show.
I'd love to.
With you.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah, we'll do another one. We'll catch back up and see what your future endeavors have led you to.
I definitely have some things in the works, guys, so I'll keep you posted on that.
Please do. And until then, you can always see Shoot Them On Media.
Yeah, be sure to check out Joe's channel. It's Shoot Media, SHOOTMEDIA. And you can see a lot of these videos from Ace's Basement that are very telling of the history of this place. My suggestion, though, if you're watching these videos, is kind of a necessity. Turn them up loud. You gotta turn them up.
Pretend that you were in that room.
Yeah, do your best to put yourself in that room while you're watching that video and try to just kind of soak up the energy of those videos. Because it may not sound like a perfectly produced album or anything, but it was fucking real. And the existence of that place was real. And it was a very, very, very big part of our lives and a very pivotal point in our lives. And Joe, earlier in the show, you were talking about how nothing's there, man. But I was going to say there is something there, man, because every time I ride by that empty lot, I look over and I say, in my head, if nothing else, there's Aces.
Yeah, me too.
It's still standing right there.
Absolutely.
It's still there in my mind. Everything that happened is still there. It's like these fantasy walls come up and it just reconstructs itself before my eyes as I ride past it every time.
That means a lot to hear. It really does.
But it's heartfelt, man. Like I said, what you did was very influential and it impacted a lot of our lives, man. And so many things that we do every day as weird as it is, and I'm sure several other musicians who played there haven't really stopped to think about it like this, but so much of what happened within those walls at Ace's Basement paved so many of the roads that we all still travel on right now throughout our lives. And it's crazy when you start to take things and just find the association and how many there are. It's like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but with indie bands you can do with
6
Aces.
6 Degrees of Ace's Basement.
Yeah, totally.
Music, I don't even want you to use this, but music really does bring people together, man. I mean, that's exactly what it did here. It really did.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's a period of all of our lives that we'll never forget. It was a very, very good period in our days.
It means a lot to me too. I mean, very special time.
But thanks for being on the show with us, man. Again, it was a blast, and it was really cool to round up all this nostalgia with you, And
thanks so much. It was an honor. It really was.
And you guys be sure to check us out as always, facebook.com/Stonedhenge Show. The website is stonehengeshow.com. And you can also check out Brandon on Twitter at Saint Dopium. I'm on Twitter at Todd Tannick. And we also have a show Twitter these days at Stonedhenge Show.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out our music at Powers Music on Twitter as well.
Yeah, Powers Music, or facebook.com/Powers of Sound.
Hell, BrandonWelch.com is there for you to stare at if you want to.
Yeah, and you can go to ToddBlessYou.com.
So it's all there and it's all good.
Thank you guys for listening. We hope you were able to take away some, just a little portion of the history that we had at that place and what Joe was able to do for us in this area, because it really was a really, really cool period in time. And for us and this local indie rock scene, that was our spot.
And coming from a place where we were playing in fucking UAW halls and shit like that, Moose Lodges and shit.
Yeah. It was a welcome.
Ace's Basement was a totally different fucking deal.
It was a welcome vacation from like fucking community centers and
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. But thank you guys for checking us out. Thanks again to Joe for being on the show. And I guess we'll just see you next time or speak to you next time.
I mean, we're definitely going to be here for you next time.
I promise you I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be right here. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to work it out.
We're going to keep coming back. And we don't know who the next guest is, but it'll be great, I'm sure.
You can put that shit in the bank.
Put it in the bank. Take it to the bank.
Stonedhenge!